The Shadow Shuriken is a tool that is unique among the Super Balls. It is one of the only Super Balls that do not cause status effects such as the ragdoll, the fire, the ice, and the etc. The Shadow Shuriken is classified as a Super Ball of the Shadow set, and it does the most damage out of any Super Ball while charged. It does a whopping 60 damage when charged and 30 damage when not charged. It is also the most popular Super Ball in terms of the player base, and many people have been asking me to make a video on the Shadow Shuriken and how to use it to its best efficiency, and that is why I made this video. The Shadow Shuriken does 60 damage when charged, but when the tool is not charged, the damage threshold is halved. So I suggest always charging the Shadow Shuriken, as it only takes an extra second or two and does double the damage as a normal non-charged Shuriken. The only times I ever use a non-charged Shuriken is when the player I'm fighting is lower than 30 health. Even if so, it's usually a habit to charge Shuriken anyways. Another huge part of the Shadow Shuriken is combos. There are a bunch of different combos for the Shadow Shuriken. The one I use the most is Shadow Blade plus the Shadow Shuriken. The tutorial to this combo is charge a Shuriken and throw it at your opponent, then immediately lunge at them. This way this combo works is that the charged Shuriken hits for 60 damage and it throws the opponent off guard, since they are at 40 HP after you hit them with a Shadow Shuriken. Due to this, you can easily hit the lunge with a Shadow Blade. To add even more, the Shadow Shuriken gives a short 0.3 second stagger, which will allow you to hit the opponent even more easily with the Shadow Blade lunge. There are a bunch of more combos I can go into, but I don't want this video to be an hour long and be talking about the combos between Shadow Shuriken and the other tools. So I'll be making a different video for the list. I will leave it at the very top of the description, and you can always just go to my channel and watch it, since it will be uploaded as soon as this video comes out too. The part of the Shadow Shuriken that throws off new Shuriken mains the most is the different shape of the Shuriken and the way you have to aim it differently than a tool such as the Super Ball. I have a few tips for you if this is the part of the Shuriken that messes you up the most. Firstly, the Shadow Shuriken has an arc. It may not look like it, but the Shuriken has an indefinite arc. And it makes it even harder to aim the tool. This is why many people prefer the bow over the shuriken, even though the obvious superiority that the shuriken has over the bow. The main tip for the aim is always throw the shuriken above the opponents in mid-range and long-range combat. In close-range combat, you will have to aim at the opponent's chest. Aiming at their head makes it awfully harder and leaves the hitbox to RNG, which is a really bad chance to hit. Those odds are awfully horrible compared to the almost guaranteed hit if you aim at the opponent's chest. So always aim at their chest rather than their head in close-range combat. Secondly, the charging tip also comes into play with the aim of the Shadow Shuriken. Non-charged shurikens will have the ARD come earlier than the charged shuriken. In basically every way possible, a charged shuriken is better than a non-charged shuriken because the charged shuriken has an ARD that comes later on rather than earlier like the non-charged shuriken. Thirdly, always keep track of where your opponent is. When you do this, you can predict their movements and hit them in a spot where they weren't before when you blast through your shuriken. Predicting your opponent's movements matters a lot when you use shuriken. Lastly, do not waste your shuriken reloads. Do not throw your shuriken randomly. This comes into play especially when you have no spawns or in a sudden death. Every shot matters. Do not waste a shuriken just for a random chance to hit. Be confident in your shots rather than throwing them randomly. Shuriken Block is a technique that basically nobody knows of, and even less people know how to do it. It's such an amazing feature, but it's literally never used, so I wanted to show people how to do the technique. Before I show you how to do it, you need to know about Shuriken Block and what it is. Shuriken Block is a technique that allows you to block projectiles such as super balls, rocket launchers, and even remote detonators that are thrown mid-air. It's a very useful technique, but very hard to learn or use. It took me a few days to even do my first Shuriken Block, so now that you know what Shuriken Block is, you want to learn how to do it, right? Also, I call Shuriken Block Shuri Block since it's easier to say and shorter. So for Shuri Block, you have to aim your shuriken at the face of a rocket launcher. Blocking a rocket launcher is the easiest to block since it's bigger than a super ball and a remote detonator. By throwing a shuriken at the rocket, you will do a stagger onto the rocket. This is indicating that the Shadow Shuriken gives a stagger to inanimate objects such as the rocket, and not just players. The rocket will now have a stagger due to the script of the rocket. The rocket will explode mid-air or just disappear altogether. For the next tool you can block using the Shuriken Block is the Super Ball. You can block all Super Balls except Boomerang and all its reskins. Paintball, Boomerang and all its reskins, Slingshot, and you can block anything aside from that, such as Super Ball, Coconut, other Shurikens, and other Super Balls. Basically, for a Shuriken Block on Super Ball, just throw a Shuriken at the Super Ball you want to block. And you can throw it anywhere on the Super Ball, whether it's the front, back, or sides. Though, sometimes when you throw it from the back, it launches the Super Ball forward. So be careful of that. Blocking Super Balls is harder than blocking a rocket launcher, but blocking a mid-air remote detonator is even harder. Remote detonators are even smaller than a Super Ball, but you use the same technique as the Super Ball block. Overall, Shuriken Block is a really cool and useful feature, but it's very hard to learn. But I do think it's worth the time and effort because it can lead to very useful and really good combos. So those are all my tips for the Shadow Shuriken. If this video helped you, please consider subscribing. It helps me a ton and you can always unsubscribe. Thank you for all the support and I hope I can grow this channel with all of you.